The metal sphere floated in the darkness like a forgotten secret. Hyun-woo pressed his gloved hand against the observation window and stared at it. The sphere was massive, almost as large as their entire research station. Strange symbols covered its surface, glowing faintly with a blue light that had no business existing after millions of years in space. "It's beautiful," Ji-won whispered beside him. She was the communications expert on their small team, and her eyes were wide with wonder. "I've never seen anything like it." "Nobody has," Hyun-woo replied. His heart was beating fast. This was why he became a xenoarchaeologist, to find things that dead civilizations left behind. But this was different. This was bigger than anything he had ever dreamed of finding. Commander Tae-min floated into the observation room. He was a large man with a serious face and military precision in every movement. "The recovery team brought back the first data fragments," he said. "Yuna is working on them now." Hyun-woo pushed off from the window and followed Tae-min through the narrow corridors of the station. Space stations always felt too small, too cramped, but right now he barely noticed. His mind was racing with possibilities. The sphere belonged to the Velthani, an alien race that vanished 2 million years ago. They had been incredibly advanced, building cities on 100 worlds before disappearing without a trace. The analysis room was cold and filled with holographic displays. Yuna sat in the center, her fingers dancing across multiple screens at once. She was young, barely 30, but she was the best quantum linguist in this sector of space. If anyone could decode the Velthani language, it was her. "Tell me you found something," Hyun-woo said. Yuna looked up, and her face was pale. "I found something," she said quietly. "But you're not going to like it. Ask." She waved her hand and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. The symbols rearranged themselves into words that everyone could read. The translation was crude, full of gaps. But the message was clear enough. "Warning. Do not approach coordinates 3492827 prime. Species in hibernation. Extreme danger. They are the ones who never stop. They are the hunters who conquered their world. Do not wake them." Hyun-woo felt his stomach tighten. "Coordinates 3492827 prime. Where is that?" Ji-won was already checking her console. Her fingers stopped moving. "That's impossible," she breathed. "What is it?" Tae-min demanded. "Those coordinates point to the Sol system," Ji-won said. "To Earth." The room fell silent. Everyone knew about Earth. It was the legendary homeworld of humanity, the planet where their species had evolved. But Earth had gone silent 3,000 years ago. The last generation ships had left during the Great Dispersal, spreading humanity across the galaxy. Nobody had been back to Earth since. Most people assumed the planet was dead, its resources exhausted. "There must be a mistake," Tae-min said. "Run the coordinates again." Ji-won did. The result was the same. The Velthani warning pointed directly at Earth. "This doesn't make sense," Hyun-woo said. He started pacing, his mind trying to fit the pieces together. The Velthani died out 2 million years ago. Humans were still primitive back then. We were barely using stone tools. Why would they warn anyone about us? Maybe it's not about us, Yuna suggested. She pulled up more data. "I've been analyzing the sphere. It's not just one warning. It's thousands of warnings. Look." The hologram expanded, showing layer after layer of text. Different languages, different scripts, different time periods. But they all said the same thing. Stay away from Earth. Don't wake the ones who sleep there. Danger. Death. Extinction. 47 different species left warnings about Earth, Yuna said. Her voice was shaking slightly. 47 different civilizations, across millions of years, all saying the same thing. Never go there. Never disturb them. Hyun-woo felt cold. Who were they warning about? Humans? I don't know, Yuna admitted. The translations are fragmentary. But look at this. She highlighted one section. This warning is only 50,000 years old, from a species called the Rothani. Their message is more detailed. New words appeared in the hologram. We observed them from a distance. They are persistence hunters. They do not stop. They cannot be deterred. Their world tried to kill them with ice and fire and beasts, but they survived everything. They are tool makers, problem solvers, and they never accept defeat. We do not know what they will become when they reach the stars. We only know that we fear them. Let them sleep. Let them stay on their world. Do not give them a reason to spread. That's insane, Taman said flatly. Humans aren't monsters. We're explorers, scientists, artists. Yes, we've had wars, but we're not some kind of galactic threat, aren't we? Jiwan asked softly. Everyone turned to look at her. She seemed uncomfortable, but continued. Think about it. Humans adapt to everything. We live on ice worlds and desert planets and stations in deep space. We survive disasters that would wipe out other species. We're stubborn. We don't give up. Maybe that's what scared them. Hyun-woo shook his head. This is all speculation. We need more information. We need to know why these civilizations were so afraid. We should report this to the Galactic Council, Taman said. He was using his commander voice, the one that expected to be obeyed. This is too important to keep to ourselves. No. Hyun-woo said immediately. Not yet. If we report this now, they'll classify it. They'll lock it away, and we'll never get answers. We need to investigate first. That's against protocol, Taman warned. I know. Hyun-woo met his eyes. But when has following protocol ever led to real discovery? The sphere is full of data. Give us time to analyze it properly. A few weeks. That's all I'm asking. Taemin was silent for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. 2 weeks. But if you find anything dangerous, we report it immediately. Understood? Understood. Hyun-woo agreed. Over the next few days, the team worked around the clock. The sphere's data was vast, almost overwhelming. Yuna translated warning after warning, each one more dire than the last. Some were simple. Stay away. Others were detailed accounts of observations, of encounters, of fear. One message haunted Hyun-woo. It came from a species that had died out 300,000 years ago. We landed on their world to study them. We meant no harm, but they saw us as a threat, or perhaps as a challenge. They hunted us, not with advanced weapons, but with cleverness and endurance. They tracked us for days. They never slept. They never gave up. When our ship left, only 3 of us remained. The others were gone, taken. We never saw what they did with the bodies. We never want to know. Mark this world as forbidden. Mark it in every language. Let no one ever forget. Hyun-woo read the message 3 times. Then, he made a decision. We need to go to Earth, he said. The others stared at him. Are you insane? Taemin asked. Maybe, Hyun-woo admitted. But we need to know the truth. Earth went silent 3,000 years ago. Whatever scared these ancient species, it might be gone now. Or it might be sleeping. Either way, we need to see for ourselves. Ji-won bit her lip. The warnings all say the same thing. Hyun-woo looked at each member of his team. Then we'll be very careful not to wake anyone up. But we can't ignore this. The galaxy deserves to know what happened to Earth, and why 47 civilizations were terrified of us. Yuna nodded slowly. I'm in. Me too, Ji-won said, though she looked scared. Taemin sighed. Against my better judgment, I'll authorize the mission. But we go in quietly. No broadcasts, no signals. We observe, and we leave. Agreed? Agreed, Hyun-woo said. They set course for Earth. The journey would take 3 weeks. As their ship flew through the darkness between stars, Hyunwoo couldn't stop thinking about the warnings. 47 species, across millions of years, all afraid of the same thing. What had they seen? What did they know about humanity that humans themselves had forgotten? And most importantly, what was waiting for them on Earth? The ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near a dead world. Hyunwoo studied the planet on his screen. It was gray and lifeless, its atmosphere long gone. But according to the data from the sphere, this world once belonged to the Kelthani, a species that existed 100,000 years ago. Scanners show structures beneath the surface, Minho reported from the pilot's seat. He was young and eager, always ready for adventure. Looks like some kind of vault system. Take us down, Hyunwoo ordered. The landing was smooth. They suited up and descended into the underground complex. Hana, their medical officer, kept scanning for biological hazards. Dae-jung, the security chief, kept his weapon ready. He didn't trust ancient alien ruins, and Hyunwoo didn't blame him. The vault was enormous. Walls of crystalline storage stretched into the darkness, each one containing data from a civilization long dead. Yuna connected her equipment to the nearest terminal. The system was old but still functional, powered by some kind of eternal energy source. "I'm in," she said, searching for references to Earth or humanity. They waited in the cold darkness. Minutes passed. Then Yuna gasped. "Found something. It's a research report. The Kelthani sent an expedition to Earth 43,000 years ago. What did they find?" Hyunwoo asked. Yuna read from her screen. They observed humans from orbit for 3 months. The report says humans were living in small tribes, using primitive tools. The Kelthani decided to land and study them more closely. They wanted to understand human evolution. "And?" Ji-won prompted, "and it went wrong." Yuna's voice was tense. The research team landed in a remote area. They built a hidden camp and started observing a human tribe. Everything seemed fine for the first week. Then one of their team members went missing. They searched but found no trace. 2 days later, another one vanished. The camp's security systems showed nothing. No intrusions, no attacks. Hyunwoo felt his skin crawl. "What happened?" "The humans hunted them," Yuna said quietly. "The report says the humans somehow detected the Kelthani presence. They tracked them. The Kelthani had advanced technology, camouflage, sensors, everything. But the humans found them anyway. The report describes it as terrifying. The humans were patient, methodical, relentless. They didn't attack directly. They waited. They watched. They learned." "That's impossible," Dae-jung said. "Primitive humans with stone tools against advanced aliens? How could they win?" "The report doesn't say they won," Yuna corrected. "It says the Kelthani fled. Out of 12 team members, only 4 made it back to the ship. The others just disappeared. The survivors were traumatized. They refused to ever discuss what they saw. The Kelthani government declared Earth a forbidden zone immediately after." Hana shivered despite her heated suit. "Did the report say what happened to the missing researchers?" "No," Yuna said. "But there's a note at the end. It says the humans left markings near the Kelthani camp after they fled, symbols drawn in ash and blood. The Kelthani linguists later translated them. The symbols said go away and never return." The team stood in silence. Hyunwoo tried to imagine it. Ancient humans, barely beyond the Stone Age, somehow defeating aliens with advanced technology, not through superior weapons, but through sheer determination and cunning. "There have to be other records," he said. "We need to see more." They visited 2 more dead worlds over the next week. Each one had archives, and each archive contained stories about Earth. The pattern was always the same. Some ancient species would find Earth, observe humans, and then something would go horribly wrong. The Vrothani tried to establish a trading post in Earth's orbit 50,000 years ago. Their records described seeing humans below, watching the stars with an intensity that disturbed them. They looked at us the way predators look at prey, one report stated. We left before they developed spaceflight. We did not want to be their first target. The Xelthari landed on Earth 28,000 years ago. They wanted to study Earth's diverse ecosystem. They built a research facility in a dense forest and filled it with specimens. The facility lasted 3 months before humans found it. The Xelthari tried to communicate peacefully, but the humans seemed to view them as invaders. The facility was destroyed. The Xelthari escaped but left behind a warning. They defended their territory with a ferocity we have never encountered. They used our own technology against us. They learned from every encounter. The pardons of, the skunting, the pardons of inten, the skunting, the pardons of inten, the pardons of inten. These beings are dangerous not because of what they have, but because of what they are. But the most disturbing record came from a species called the Anthari. Their archive was found on a ruined space station drifting between stars. Yuna spent hours decoding their data format. When she finally succeeded, her hands were shaking. The Anthari encountered humans in space, she said. Not ancient humans. Modern humans. This was only 5,000 years ago. What? Taemin leaned forward. But humans didn't have spaceflight 5,000 years ago. We were still developing agriculture. Wah. According to this, they did. Yuna insisted. The Anthari found human ships in the outer solar system. Primitive ships, but functional. The humans were mining asteroids. The Anthari tried to make contact. They wanted to welcome humanity to the galactic community. That's a good thing, right? Minho asked. Yuna shook her head. The humans refused contact. They told the Anthari to leave their system immediately. The Anthari thought this was just cultural isolation. They decided to wait, to give humans time to accept them. They built an observation post on one of Jupiter's moons. Let me guess, Daejung said dryly. That didn't end well. The humans destroyed it. Yuna confirmed. They used kinetic weapons, just rocks accelerated to high speed. Simple, but effective. The Anthari lost 300 people. They tried to defend themselves, but the humans kept coming. More ships, more weapons, more determination. The Anthari report says humans fought with a coordination and intensity that suggested military experience far beyond what their technology level should allow. That doesn't make sense, G1 said. 5,000 years ago, humans were scattered across Earth in small civilizations. How could they have spaceships and military coordination? I don't know, Yuna admitted. But the Anthari report ends with a warning. It says humans told them something before the final attack. The message was simple. You were warned. You did not listen. Now you pay the price. Tell others to stay away from our home. Hyunwoo felt a chill run down his spine. So, humans knew about the warnings. They might have even created some of them. That would explain why the warnings span such a long time period, Hana said thoughtfully. If humans had space capability earlier than we thought, and if they were that aggressive about protecting their territory, then Earth wasn't a forbidden zone because aliens feared us. Hyunwoo finished. It was a forbidden zone. Because we made it one. They returned to their ship and continued toward Earth. The journey felt different now. They weren't just investigating a mystery. They were potentially violating a quarantine that humanity itself had established. Why would humans do that? G1 asked one evening. They were gathered in the ship's common area, trying to make sense of everything they had learned. Why isolate Earth so completely? Protection, Taemin suggested. If humans encountered hostile aliens early in their development, they might have decided isolation was safer than contact. Or maybe they were protecting everyone else, Hana said quietly. Everyone looked at her. she continued. All these reports describe humans as relentless, dangerous, unpredictable. What if humans knew that about themselves? What if they chose isolation to keep the galaxy safe from them? That's a dark thought. But it fits the pattern, Hyunwoo admitted. He pulled up all the warnings they had collected. Look at the language. It's not these beings are evil, or these beings want to conquer. It's always these beings won't stop, and these beings adapt too well. And these beings are too dangerous when threatened. It's fear of potential, not fear of intent. So what do? Yuna asked. We're almost at Earth. We're about to break a quarantine that might have existed for 50,000 years. We observe only, Taemin said firmly. We stay in the outer system. We scan from a distance. We don't land. We don't broadcast. We don't make contact with anything. We look, we learn, and we leave. Everyone clear? Everyone nodded. But Hyunwoo couldn't shake a feeling of dread. Every species that had encountered Earth had ended up running away or leaving warnings. What made them think they would be different? As Earth's solar system appeared on their sensors, Hyunwoo stared at the small blue dot that was humanity's homeworld. It looked peaceful from here. Beautiful, even. But somewhere down there, something had scared 47 different civilizations. Something that might still be waiting. Something that all the warnings said should never be awakened. And they were about to find out what it was. Earth hung in space like a blue jewel. Hyunwoo stared at it through the ship's main display, his breath caught in his throat. After 3,000 years of silence, humanity's homeworld looked pristine and untouched. Initial scans complete, Minho reported. No artificial signals, no satellite networks, no orbital structures. It's like nobody's home. Life signs? Taemin asked. Plenty of biological activity on the surface, Hana said, studying her medical scanners. Plants, animals, complex ecosystems, but no human settlements that I can detect. No cities, no farms, no roads. Earth looks like it did before humans existed. That's impossible, Ji-won whispered. Even if everyone left, there should be ruins. Buildings don't just disappear. Take us closer, Hyunwoo ordered. But keep us in high orbit. Passive scans only. The ship descended slowly. As they got closer, details emerged. The planet's surface was covered in forests and grasslands. Old cities were barely visible, consumed by vegetation. Rivers ran clean through valleys where highways once stood. It was beautiful and eerie at the same time. Where did everyone go? Yuna wondered aloud. Look at this. Daejung pulled up a scan of what used to be a major city. The structures are still there. Underneath all that green, they're just overgrown. This didn't happen overnight. This took centuries. So humanity did leave, Taemin concluded. The generation ships we know about weren't just colonies. They were an exodus. But something bothered Hyunwoo. He zoomed in on several locations, studying the patterns of growth and decay. Something was wrong. The cities weren't ruins. They were maintained ruins, as if nature had been carefully guided to cover them. Scan below the surface, he said suddenly. Hana adjusted her instruments. Her eyes went wide. There's something down there. Big structures. Really big. They're deep. Maybe a kilometer or more underground. They span entire continents. What kind of structures? Taemin demanded. I don't know. The density readings are strange. Metal, but also something organic. And there's energy. Lots of it, running through networks that connect everything. Hana looked up from her console. It's like the whole planet is one massive machine, hidden beneath the surface. A cold feeling settled in Hyunwoo's stomach. They didn't leave. They went underground. Why would they do that? Minho asked. Before anyone could answer, their sensors screamed a warning. Another ship had just entered the system. A big ship. Military grade. It's a Krathian warship, Daejung said, his voice tight. What are they doing here? The Krathians were a militaristic species known for aggressive expansion. They consumed resources from any planet they could reach, regardless of who claimed it. Hyunwoo had heard stories about their mining operations. They were efficient and brutal. They're heading straight for Earth's moon, Minho reported. They're not even trying to hide. Hail them, Taemin ordered. Jiwon opened a communication channel. A Krathian face appeared on screen, all sharp angles and cold eyes. Unidentified research vessel. This is the Krathian mining ship. Devourer. We claim this system under resource acquisition protocols. Depart immediately or be considered hostile. This is Commander Taemin of the Independent Research Station Epsilon 9. This system is under quarantine. Ancient protocols forbid. The Krathian interrupted with a harsh laugh. Quarantine? There's no registered claim here. No defensive fleet. No active government. This system is abandoned. We're taking what we need. You don't understand, Hyunwoo cut in, pushing forward. There are warnings about this place. Dozens of them, from species that don't exist anymore. They all say the same thing. Don't disturb Earth. Superstition. The Krathians sneered. The weak always fear empty places. We are not weak. We are not afraid. Mine your own system, if you want. This one belongs to Krathia now. The communication cut off. The Krathian ship accelerated toward the moon, deploying mining equipment as it went. We have to stop them, Jiwon said urgently. With what? Daejung asked. We're a research vessel. They're a warship. We can't even slow them down. Hyunwoo watched helplessly as the Krathian ship landed on the moon's surface. Massive drilling equipment began boring into the lunar regolith. The Krathians were loud and careless, announcing their presence to the entire system. Something's happening on Earth, Hana said suddenly. Energy readings are spiking. The underground structures are activating. On the main display, lights began appearing across Earth's surface. Not city lights, but something else. Patterns of blue luminescence spread across continents like veins of light. What is that? A defense system, Taemin said quietly. It has to be. We need to get closer, Hyunwoo decided. Land on Earth. We have to understand what's happening. That's insane, Daejung protested. The Krathians already broke the quarantine. Hyunwoo shot back. Whatever's going to happen is already happening. We need to know what we're dealing with. Taemin thought for a moment, then nodded. They descended through Earth's atmosphere, aiming for an area near what used to be a major city. The landing was gentle, setting down in a clearing, surrounded by massive trees. The air was clean when they stepped out. Cleaner than any world Hyunwoo had visited. Follow the energy readings, he instructed. Hana led them through the forest. The underground energy signatures were stronger here. After 20 minutes of walking, they found an entrance. A massive doorway built into a hillside and covered with vines. The door was opening. Should we go in? Jiwon asked nervously. We came this far, Hyunwoo said. He stepped through the doorway. Inside was a corridor carved from rock and lined with metal. Lights flickered on as they walked, responding to their presence. The corridor sloped downward, taking them deep into the earth. After several minutes, they reached a vast chamber. The chamber was filled with pods. Thousands of them, stretching into the darkness. Each pod was made of a crystalline material and filled with some kind of fluid. And inside each pod was a person, a human, sleeping. They're in stasis, Hana whispered, scanning the nearest pod. Suspended animation. Their biological processes are almost stopped. But they're alive. They've been alive this whole time. How many? Taemin asked. Thousands in this chamber alone, Hana said. And according to my scans, there are hundreds of chambers like this across the planet. Maybe thousands. She paused, her voice shaking. There could be billions of humans sleeping under Earth's surface. A voice echoed through the chamber, speaking in an ancient human language that their translators struggled with. Intruders detected. Unauthorized presence. Evaluating threat level. We're not a threat, Hyunwoo called out. We're researchers. We came to understand what happened here. Searching records, the voice said. It was automated. An artificial intelligence. Human descendants identified. Research purpose confirmed. Non-hostile. However, external threat detected. Krathian mining operation on lunar surface. Aggressive actions. Resource extraction without permission. Quarantine. Violated. Can you stop them? Ji-won asked. Protocols engaging. Wake sequence initiated. Humanity will address the violation. The pods began to glow brighter. The fluid inside them started to drain. Across the chamber, humans were beginning to wake up. Their eyes opened. Their bodies stirred. And in one pod, near the front, an older man sat up. His name was Sung-ho, according to the information displayed on his pod. He looked around, confused and disoriented. His eyes fell on Hyunwoo and the others. He spoke, his voice rough from disuse. How long? He asked in modern Korean, a language that was thousands of years old but one that Hyunwoo could understand through his translator. 3,000 years. Hyunwoo answered softly. Sung-ho closed his eyes and took a deep breath. 3,000. We hoped it would be longer. We hoped you would evolve past needing us. He looked at them again. What woke the system? Mining ships, Taemin explained. The Krathians. They're on your moon. They're taking resources. Something dangerous flashed across Sung-ho's face. They attacked our home. They're just mining. Ji-won said quickly. Maybe we can talk to them. Make them understand. They attacked our home, Sung-ho repeated, his voice harder. He climbed out of the pod, his movements gaining strength. Around the chamber, more humans were waking. We left warnings. 47 different languages across 50,000 years. We made it very clear. Stay away. Don't disturb us. Don't make us wake up. Why? Hyunwoo asked desperately. Why did you hide? Why did humanity choose to sleep? Sung-ho looked at him with ancient, tired eyes. Because the galaxy was empty. We spread across our solar system and found no one worthy of meeting us. No challenges, no equals, no reasons to stay awake. So we decided to sleep until something interesting happened. Until the galaxy grew up enough to be worth our time. And if someone woke you before that? Hana asked. Sung-ho smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Then, they would learn why 47 civilizations left warnings. They would understand why humanity chose to protect the galaxy from itself. Alarms began blaring across the chamber. Sung-ho's smile faded. The Krathians just attacked one of our automated defense platforms. They think it's unmanned. They think they can destroy it and continue mining. He walked toward a control panel and pressed his hand against it. Screens lit up, showing the moon's surface. The Krathian ship was firing weapons at structures emerging from the lunar dust. How long until you're fully operational? Taemin asked. We're already operational, Sung-ho said quietly. We've been operational for 50,000 years. We just chose not to act. But now? He looked at the screen, at the Krathian ship destroying human property. Now, someone broke the rules. And they're going to learn why that was a mistake. More humans were waking across the underground complex. Hyunwoo watched in amazement as thousands of people emerged from their pods, moving with purpose, despite sleeping for 3 millennia. They didn't seem confused or disoriented for long. Within minutes, they were at control stations, checking systems, and coordinating with each other. A tall woman with sharp eyes approached Sung-ho. She wore the same simple clothing as everyone else, but she carried herself like a soldier. Commander, Unji, reporting. Defense network is fully active. Lunar installations are engaging the hostile vessel. Status of the Krathian ship? Sung-ho asked. They're trying to retreat, Yoonji reported. They damaged 3 of our surface installations before realizing we're not automated defenses. They're calling for reinforcements. They're calling for reinforcements. Let one ship escape, Sung-ho ordered. Let them tell their people what they found. But make it clear that this system is defended. Yoonji nodded and moved to a command console. On the screens above, Hyun-woo could see what was happening on the moon. Structures were rising from beneath the lunar surface, sleek and deadly. They weren't firing yet, just surrounding the Krathian ship. The message was clear. Leave, or die. The Krathian ship tried to fight. Its weapons fired at the nearest installation. The installation's shields absorbed the blast easily. Then, a beam of pure energy lanced out from Earth's surface, crossing the distance between planet and moon in an instant. It struck the Krathian ship's engine section. The explosion was silent in the vacuum of space. They're disabled, Yoonji said. Not destroyed. Their crew can still evacuate. Good, Sung-ho said. He turned to Hyun-woo and his team. Come with me. You need to understand what's happening. They followed him deeper into the complex. As they walked, more humans joined them. A younger woman with intelligent eyes introduced herself as Jin Seo, a historian and scientist. She looked at Hyun-woo's team with curiosity. You're human descendants, she said. From the Generation ships. Which colony? We're from all over, Hyun-woo explained. Humanity spread across thousands of worlds after leaving Earth. We built a new civilization out there. 5. And you forgot about us, Jin So said. It wasn't an accusation, just a statement of fact. We thought Earth was abandoned, Ji-won said softly. We thought you all left. In a way, we did, Jin Seo replied. They entered a large room filled with historical displays. Holographic images showed Earth's past. Cities, wars, technological advances, space exploration. 50,000 years ago, humans developed faster than light travel. We explored the nearby stars and found something unexpected. What? Yuna asked. Nothing, Jin Seo said simply. We found empty worlds, dead civilizations, evidence that intelligent life had existed and vanished. We found the ruins of hundreds of species, but no living equals. No one to talk to, no one to compete with, no one to learn from. The galaxy was a graveyard. She gestured, and the hologram changed, showing humans meeting various alien species. We did encounter some species that were still alive, but they were primitive, or just beginning to develop. When they saw us, they were afraid. Not because we were hostile, but because of what we represented. I don't understand, Minho said. Sung-ho spoke up. Humans evolved on a death world. Earth tried to kill us constantly. Ice ages, volcanoes, predators, diseases, droughts, floods. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But we survived. We didn't survive by being stronger or faster. We survived by being stubborn. We survived by never giving up. Other species evolved on gentler worlds, Jin Seo continued. When they faced extinction-level events, they died. When humans faced extinction-level events, we adapted. We learned. We changed. Every disaster made us stronger. By the time we reached space, we were persistence incarnate. We were problem solvers who never accepted defeat. Hana spoke quietly. The ancient warnings, they weren't about your technology. No. Sung-ho agreed. They were about our nature. When those primitive species met us, they saw what they might become if they survived long enough. They saw apex evolution, and it terrified them. So you left warnings, Hyun-woo said, pieces falling into place. You told everyone to stay away from Earth. We did, Jin Seo confirmed. We realized that our very existence was threatening to other species, not because we wanted to conquer or destroy, but because we represented an evolutionary endpoint that most species couldn't reach. We were the universe's answer to the question, what survives when everything tries to kill you? The hologram showed humans building massive underground complexes. We decided to isolate ourselves. Some humans left on generation ships to start fresh elsewhere, to see if distance and time would make us less intense. The rest of us chose to sleep. We built this hibernation network and went dormant. We programmed our defense systems to protect Earth but not to attack unless provoked. We hoped that by the time we woke, the galaxy would have evolved interesting civilizations, equals, challenges, reasons to exist. But you set a trap, Taemin said, his military mind understanding. Anyone who violated the warnings would wake you. Not a trap, Sung-ho corrected. A test. We gave clear warnings. We left them in every language we could find. Anyone who ignored those warnings was either too foolish or too aggressive to be trusted. Either way, they needed to be taught a lesson. Alarms blared again. Yoonji's voice came over the communication system. More Krathian ships entering the system. Multiple battlecruisers. They're demanding we surrender Earth to Krathian authority. Sung-ho's expression darkened. They attack our home and then make demands? How many ships? 23 combat vessels, Yoonji reported. More incoming. They're mobilizing their battle fleet. Wake the military installations, Sung-ho ordered. Full defensive authorization. Wait, Hyunwoo said desperately. There has to be another way. You can talk to them. Make them understand. We tried talking 50,000 years ago, Jinso said sadly. Every species that found us either ran away in fear or attacked in aggression. The Krathians chose aggression. Now they'll learn what happens when you wake a sleeping predator. On the screens, the Krathian fleet was advancing. They were confident. Their weapons powered up, their shields at maximum. They had numbers and firepower. They thought they could overwhelm any defense Earth might have. They were wrong. Installations rose from Earth's surface, the Moon, Mars, even from asteroids throughout the solar system. Thousands of defensive platforms, each one more advanced than anything the Krathians had. They had been waiting here for 3,000 years, maintained by automated systems, ready for this exact moment. The Krathian fleet opened fire first. Their weapons were powerful, designed to crack planetary shields. But Earth's defenses absorbed the attacks effortlessly. The shields didn't even flicker. Then Earth fired back. It wasn't a battle. It was an extermination. Human weapons, designed during an era when survival meant being better than everything that wanted to kill you, tore through Krathian ships like they were made of paper. Energy beams, kinetic projectiles, gravitational weapons that crushed ships from the inside out. The Krathian fleet lasted 17 minutes. Hyunwoo watched in horror. Ji-won was crying. Minho looked sick. Even Dae-jung, who had seen combat, seemed shaken by the efficiency of the destruction. You massacred them, Taemin said quietly. We defended our home, Eunji replied. She had joined them in the observation room. They were warned. They attacked anyway. This is the consequence. I'm one. There were thousands of people on those ships, Hana whispered. And there are billions sleeping on Earth, Sung-ho said. His voice was not cruel, just tired. The Krathians made a choice. They chose violence. They chose to ignore warnings that were 50,000 years old. They chose to attack a world they knew nothing about. These are the consequences of their choices. Some of their ships are fleeing, Yoonji reported. Should we pursue? No, Sung-ho decided. Let them run. Let them tell their empire what happened. Let everyone know that Earth is not abandoned. Earth is protected, and anyone who violates our space will face the same fate. The remaining Krathian ships jumped away, fleeing at maximum speed. The solar system fell quiet again. But now, it was different. Now everyone would know that humans were still here, that they had never truly left. Jin Seo turned to Hyunwoo's team. You need to understand something. We're not monsters. We didn't want this. We literally went to sleep to avoid having to do this. But the galaxy made a choice today. The Krathians chose to wake us. Now everyone will have to deal with the consequences. What happens now? Ji-won asked. Will you go back to sleep? No. Sung-ho said heavily. We can't. The galaxy knows we're here. More will come. Some out of curiosity, some out of aggression, some out of fear. We'll have to deal with all of them. The isolation is broken. Yoonji looked angry. We gave them 3,000 years. 3,000 years of peace, of safety, of time, to build civilizations without us interfering. And they wasted it. They didn't become wise or peaceful. They became aggressive and greedy. They proved they haven't evolved at all. That's not fair, Hyunwoo protested. Not all species are like the Krathians. There are peaceful civilizations, cooperative ones. The Galactic Council that let the Krathians expand unchecked, Jin Seo interrupted. The one that allowed aggressive resource extraction across colonized worlds? The one that maintained the quarantine around Earth, not because they respected us, but because they feared us? She pulled up star charts, showing galactic politics. We've been monitoring everything through automated systems. We know what's been happening. The galaxy didn't evolve. It stagnated, without humans to push them, to challenge them, to give them a reason to be better. They became comfortable, safe, weak. So what will you do? Taemin asked. Conquer the galaxy? Prove the ancient warnings right? No. Sung-ho said firmly. We'll do what we always do. We'll survive. We'll adapt. And we'll make sure that anyone who threatens our home learns the same lesson the Krathians just learned. He looked at Hyunwoo. You and your team are witnesses. You'll return to the galaxy and tell them what you saw. Tell them humanity is awake. Tell them we want to be left alone. And tell them that if they can't respect that simple request, they'll face the consequences. The Galactic Council chamber was the largest structure in known space. It floated between stars, a neutral ground where thousands of species gathered to debate, negotiate, and occasionally argue. Hyunwoo had never been here before. Few people had. The council was ancient and secretive, reserved for only the most important matters. Today's matter was the most important in recorded history. The chamber was packed. Representatives from every major civilization stood in their designated areas, their translation devices buzzing with dozens of languages. The air was thick with fear and curiosity. Everyone had heard the news. The Krathian battle fleet had been destroyed. Earth, the legendary Forbidden World, had awakened. Hyunwoo stood in the human delegation area with his team. They had been summoned here to testify about what they saw. Around them, other humans from the Generation ship colonies whispered nervously. They had lived their whole lives thinking Earth was dead. Now they learned their ancestors were just sleeping. Chancellor Vren called the session to order. The Chancellor was an ancient being, a member of a species that lived for thousands of years. Its voice echoed through the chamber. We are gathered to address the Earth situation. The quarantine has been broken. Humanity has awakened. We must decide how to proceed. A Krathian representative stood, its body rigid with anger. Humanity attacked us without provocation. They destroyed our mining fleet. This is an act of war. We demand the Council authorize a full military response. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some species agreed with the Krathians. Others looked uncertain. Hyunwoo felt sick. This could start a war that would consume the galaxy. But before Chancellor Vren could respond, the chamber's main doors opened. A figure walked in. flanked by guards. It was a human woman, dressed in simple but elegant clothing. She moved with confidence and purpose. This was So Yun, the diplomatic envoy the Earth humans had awakened specifically for this meeting. The Council recognizes So Yun of Earth, Chancellor Vren announced. So Yun walked to the center platform. She looked around the chamber, making eye contact with representatives from various species. When she spoke, her voice was calm and clear. The Krathian representative lies. Humanity did not attack without provocation. The Krathians violated a 50,000-year-old quarantine. They ignored warnings, left in 47 different languages. They landed on our moon and began extracting resources without permission. When our automated defenses activated, they attacked those defenses. Only then did we respond with force. You slaughtered thousands. The Krathian representative accused. We defended our home. So Yun replied evenly. Your fleet had multiple opportunities to retreat. Your commanders chose to escalate. They chose to bring more ships, more weapons. They chose war. We simply finished it. You claim Earth is your home, a reptilian representative spoke up. But humans abandoned Earth 3,000 years ago. You have no legal claim to that system. We never abandoned Earth. So Yun corrected. We chose to sleep. Our automated systems have maintained sovereignty over the Sol system continuously for 50,000 years. Our claim is older than most civilizations in this chamber. Chancellor Vren raised a hand for silence. So Yun of Earth, the Council has reviewed the ancient records. We have found the warnings you mentioned. We acknowledge they existed. But we must ask, why did humanity hide? Why did you choose isolation instead of joining the galactic community? So Yun's expression softened slightly. Because we frightened you. All of you. When our ancestors first developed spaceflight and encountered other species, we saw fear in their eyes, not because we were hostile, but because of what we represented. We are persistence hunters who evolved on a world that constantly tried to kill us. We are problem solvers who never accept defeat. We are survivors who adapt to anything. These traits made us effective, but they also made us terrifying to species that evolved in gentler environments. She gestured around the chamber. Our ancestors studied your civilizations. They saw that most species developed peacefully. You created art and philosophy and science. But when faced with existential threats, many of you perished. You weren't used to fighting for survival every single day. We were. That fundamental difference made coexistence difficult. So you judged us and left. Another representative said bitterly. No, So Yun said firmly. We removed ourselves. We chose isolation to protect you from our influence. We worried that our presence would change how other species evolved. We worried that you would either fear us or try to imitate us, and neither option seemed healthy. So, we left warnings, established a quarantine, and went to sleep. We gave the galaxy time to grow on its own terms. Yuna suddenly stood up in the observation gallery. Chancellor Vren, permission to speak? The Chancellor looked surprised but nodded. The Council recognizes Yuna, xenolinguist from Research Station Epsilon 9. Yuna moved to a console and projected her findings. I've spent the last 3 weeks analyzing the ancient warnings. I discovered something. There's a second part to the messages that we missed initially because it was encoded differently. With So Yun's help, I was able to translate it. New text appeared on the chamber's displays. Hyun Woo read it and felt his breath catch. The message was simple. We sleep not because we are tired, but because the universe is not yet ready for us. Wake us only when you have achieved something worthy of our attention. Show us art that moves the soul. Show us science that breaks reality's rules. Show us philosophy that answers the old questions. Prove that the galaxy is worth existing in. Until then, Let us dream of a future where we are not alone in understanding what it means to truly live. Silence filled the chamber. Finally, a representative from a species known for their artistic achievements spoke. You wanted to be impressed. You wanted peers, not subjects or enemies. Yes, So-Yun confirmed. Humanity didn't isolate out of arrogance. We isolated out of loneliness. We hoped that given enough time, other species would develop to a point where we could interact as equals, where we could learn from each other, where we could be challenged and inspired. And instead, we woke you with violence, Chancellor Vren said quietly. The Krathians proved, we have not evolved as you hoped. The Krathians are not the entire galaxy, So-Yun replied. I've been studying what you've built in the 3,000 years since we slept. I've seen your art galleries that span entire moons. Your universities that teach 1 million subjects. Your nature preserves that protect endangered ecosystems. You've accomplished much, but you've also allowed aggressive species like the Krathians to expand unchecked. You've maintained a balance of power through fear rather than through cooperation. You've stagnated in many ways, the Krathian representative growled. You have no right to judge us. I'm not judging, So-Yun said. I'm observing, and I'm offering a choice. She pulled up a holographic display of Earth's solar system. Humanity will return to sleep. Not for 3,000 years this time, but until the galaxy truly evolves. We will establish a single contact point, a station on the edge of our system. If any species achieves something genuinely worthy, something that breaks new ground in science, art, philosophy, or any other field, they may approach this station. They may present their achievement, and if we find it interesting, if it proves the galaxy has grown, we may choose to wake and engage. That's absurd, the Krathian representative sputtered. You're demanding we prove ourselves to you. No, So-Yun said. We're offering you an opportunity. Humanity is dangerous when threatened. We're relentless when challenged. We're overwhelming when provoked. These are facts that everyone in this chamber fears. By returning to sleep, we remove that danger. But we also remove our potential as allies, teachers, and partners. If you want access to human knowledge, human technology, human cooperation, you must earn it by showing us the galaxy has evolved beyond simple survival into true civilization. Chancellor Vren looked thoughtful. And if we refuse? If the Council decides to enforce contact with Earth by force? So-Yun's expression hardened. Then you'll learn the same lesson the Krathians learned. Our solar system has defensive capabilities that you cannot imagine. We were building weapons and shields when most of your species were still learning to make fire. We have had 50,000 years to perfect those defenses. You cannot force us to engage. You can only convince us. Hyun-Woo stood up. Chancellor Vren, may I speak? The Chancellor nodded. Hyun-Woo walked down to the main floor, standing near So-Yun. I'm a human from the generation ships. My ancestors left Earth before the Great Sleep. I grew up believing Earth was dead, that humanity had abandoned its homeworld. But now I understand the truth. I've seen what Earth's humans built. I've seen their power and their restraint. And I've realized something important. He looked around the chamber. The ancient warnings weren't threats. They were gifts. They were our ancestors, trying to protect you from us and us from you. They were buying time for everyone to grow. The Krathians wasted that time. They chose aggression. But the rest of us don't have to make that same choice. We can accept Earth's offer. We can work to achieve things worth sharing. We can prove the galaxy has matured. A small alien with large eyes stood up. I am Minseo of the Delphi Collective. Our species specializes in quantum mathematics. We have just completed a proof that allows for faster-than-light communication across any distance. We were planning to present it to the Council next month. Would this interest Earth? So-Yun looked at Minseo with genuine curiosity. Instantaneous communication? That would solve one of humanity's oldest challenges. Yes, that would interest us very much. Approach the contact station when you're ready. We'll wake appropriate specialists to review your work. Other representatives began standing, calling out achievements. A breakthrough in medical nanotechnology. A new form of art that manipulated gravity. A philosophical framework that resolved ancient ethical paradoxes. The chamber that had been filled with fear and tension suddenly buzzed with excitement and competition. Chancellor Vren watched this for several minutes before calling for order. The Council will vote on Earth's proposal, all in favor of accepting humanity's terms and allowing them to return to hibernation until such time as species choose to approach their contact station. The vote was overwhelming. Only the Krathians and a few of their allies voted against it. The rest of the galaxy chose cooperation over conflict. So-Yun bowed to the Council. On behalf of Earth, we accept this arrangement. Our contact station will be operational within 1 month. We will establish clear guidelines for what constitutes an achievement worthy of our attention. Any species may attempt to impress us, but be warned. We have high standards. We've been sleeping for thousands of years. Don't wake us for anything trivial. As the session ended and representatives filed out, Hyunwoo approached So-Yun. Do you really think this will work? That the galaxy will change? So-Yun smiled. I don't know. But humans are good at waiting. We're patient hunters. Remember? We can sleep for another 1,000 years if necessary. The real question is whether the galaxy will rise to the challenge or continue stagnating. That's not our problem anymore. We've given them every opportunity. And if they attack Earth while you sleep? Taemin asked. Our defenses are automated and perfect, So-Yun replied. Any attack will be met with overwhelming force. But more importantly, the Krathian defeat sent a message. Earth isn't just defended, it's impregnable. Only a fool would attack us now, and the Council won't tolerate fools after today. Over the next few weeks, Hyunwoo and his team returned to Earth. They watched as humans slowly went back into hibernation. Satisfied that the galaxy understood the rules, the contact station was built, a beautiful structure orbiting at the edge of the solar system. It would be staffed by volunteers from the Generation ship colonies, humans who would serve as intermediaries. On their last day on Earth, Hyunwoo stood with Sung-ho in a garden that had been grown over ancient ruins. Min Seo, a young human from one of the new generation, was there too, preparing to enter hibernation for the first time. Do you think you'll wake up again? Hyunwoo asked Sung-ho. The old human looked at the stars. I hope so. I hope the galaxy surprises us. I hope they achieve things we never imagined. That would make the wait worthwhile. Min Seo spoke softly. What if they never do? What if we sleep forever? Sung-ho smiled. Then we'll dream forever. And maybe that's okay too. We've lived long enough to see humanity survive everything the universe threw at us. We've earned our rest. If the galaxy wants us back, they know where to find us and what they need to do. Hyunwoo left Earth with his team, carrying the story of what they had witnessed. The ancient warnings were updated with new information. The messages now ended with, They sleep again, by choice. They granted us mercy and time. They set a challenge before us. Do not waste this gift. Do not repeat the mistakes of the Krathians. Achieve greatness. And perhaps they will wake to witness it, but disturb them without cause, and learn why our ancestors feared them. As Hyunwoo's ship jumped away from Earth, he looked back at the small blue planet. Billions of humans slept beneath its surface, waiting for the galaxy to become interesting enough to wake up for. Waiting for proof that isolation had been the right choice. Waiting for someone to show them something worth seeing. The contact station floated in the darkness, a beacon and a challenge. The first species had already scheduled appointments, eager to present their achievements. The galaxy had been given a goal, a purpose, a reason to push beyond simple survival into genuine greatness. And somewhere in the vastness of space, humanity dreamed of a future where they wouldn't be alone anymore.